All right, so we're going to talk about my favorite part of D2C brands, and that's retention. And I think that retention is the secret sauce for all D2C brands because with D2C, you actually get access to consumer data, which you may not get, which you definitely don't get through often. You may not get as much through third party channels. So, really being able to get the customer data and nudge a customer to buy again, as well as cross sell and upsell the customer for different products, is really the power that a D2C brand has. So before we go into like what you can do for retention, I think it's important to understand why retention is really important. Right? And this is basic, but I want to spend time on it and drill it down because it's really, really important for all of you to understand. The first thing is you spend money to acquire the customers, right? So you already have these customers. You've spent the customer acquisition cost. You don't have to do this again. These customers already have bought from your brand, believe in your brand, have gone through the journey of buying the first time from your brand, right? So the first aspect of CAC is gone. Second is you have the customer data and you have pretty detailed customer data. You have email address, phone number, consumption pattern. You know what they've bought, how often they've bought, what they've paid. So all of this can give you a lot of information on the customer persona and the way the customer actually behaves. In most cases, other than the example I gave yesterday of mattresses where you buy once in 5 years, the customer should buy again, right? Whether it's health and wellness, beauty, personal care, home and kitchen, pets, fashion. Why should the customer not buy again? They may not buy the same product again, but they may definitely want to buy from you again, right? And in health and wellness, beauty, personal care, they may actually buy the same product. And in fashion, they may buy something else. If you bought a t-shirt today, you may buy a shirt, you may buy a pair of pants or another t-shirt. So given all of this macro, right, it's now your job to cross sell and upsell as a brand and really build that customer lifetime value, right? It reduces your dependence on performance marketing. It reduces your CAC in general and also really allows you as a brand to leverage off the real value of what you've created through D2C. So that's why, according to me, retention is really, really important. It's the power of a D2C brand. So we know it's important, right? But what do we do now? We know that we have to sort of do something with it, right? So the first step really to sort of getting retention going is analyzing your current level of retention. So you may not be doing so much for retention, but already from an organic basis, you may have a level of retention, right? And that serves as your starting point for this journey of retention. So analyzing your current level of retention, is it 8% of your customers are coming back, 5%, 10%, 20%? Where are you at right now, right? The second is, as we said earlier, also from the product development journey, take existing customer feedback. Like, what is your existing customer saying? Why is the existing customer not coming back? If the existing customer is coming back, why are they coming back? So, taking this feedback and really actioning the feedback is really important. I speak to a lot of founders and they say, hey, like, I don't do calling or I don't do SMS because I personally find it annoying, right? I think leave your individual behavior out and understand where the customer wants to be contacted. So, contrary to the way we react as customers and the way we behave, Trisha and I, our customer actually wanted to be contacted through calls, right? And we had the highest ROI, more than 7x ROI on calls. So while we would like to be contacted on SMS and email, our customer want to be contacted in calls. And so I think uh, figuring out what's easiest for the customer and where the customer wants to be contacted is really important. Do your dipstick as well. Like start your retention journey somewhere. Do it on a certain section of customers. See how it's sort of reacting, how your customers are reacting, and what the traction is. And remember, the most important is push gently but timely, right? You may not necessarily want to send 5 SMSs to a customer in a week, but if the customer has purchased your product 1 month ago, it's important to push gently a month later, not 6 months later. Because 6 months later, the customer may have forgotten your brand or lost touch with your brand, right? So pushing gently but timely is really important. I think high LTV, right? This is invaluable for D2C brands, right? And I really like this quote from Rehan Yar Khan, who's the managing partner at Rise. He said, lifetime value is lesser strategic value. And companies look at TAM, total addressable market, customer acquisition cost, but you forget the lifetime value, right? And I keep giving the Lenskart example, where even if Lenskart has spent 5,000 rupees to acquire me as a customer, over the last 21 months, I've spent more than 65,000 rupees on the platform. So it didn't really matter how much money they spent to acquire me, as long as they spent time and effort to sort of nurture me and get me to come back multiple times as a customer. So Rehan says the largest internet companies we have: Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, TikTok, Alibaba, WeChat. In India, Ola, PharmEasy, Byju's, Paytm. All of these we interact with multiple times a month, right? And if you see the offline world, P&G, Unilever, Godrej, Starbucks, Times of India, we interact with these companies so many times a month that they get a massive LTV, right? And so if you think about it, if you have a high LTV, right, you can actually have a first time high customer acquisition cost, because the customers coming back so many times, they're actually making value back on the customer. And so if you think about a brand like Amazon, they may have a really high customer acquisition cost, but because of the high LTV and because of the fact that they are so confident that they will get customers back weekly, monthly, sometimes even daily, they can actually bury the competition by spending so much money to acquire you the first time, because they know you'll come back so many times. And that's the real value of high LTV, right? Which sometimes brands forget. Now we have all of this data, we have all of this information. We started engaging with customers, we've understood retention. But what do we need to do now, right? So we need to set up our flows. What are flows? These are actually automated customer journeys for different personas, right? Think about it like, if you purchase on any large e-commerce website, you know that if you abandon your cart, you'll get an SMS, you'll get a call. You know that 3 weeks after your purchase, you will get some amount of communication from the brand. You know that when there is a sale event, the brand will communicate to you one day before, saying exclusive access to the sale. So what's the real way to retarget these customers? It's emails, SMSs, push notifications, and calls. Those are the sort of most common ways to retarget these customers. And loyalty programs as well is a good way to retarget the customers. How do you do this? You can use marketing automation tools. Now, this list is not exhaustive, but using tools like MoEngage, WebEngage, Wixo to set up these marketing automated customer journeys and flows, so that actually once you set up a flow, and I'll show you some examples of flows as well, it becomes automatic to re-engage with the customer. So I'll walk you through one flow, right? And why am I walking you through this flow? Because I want to show you really what is it that a customer really goes through, and how can you automate this sort of journey, right? So this is a retention flow, right? So the first thing you need to do is the order has to be delivered. Then once the order is delivered, you filter out customers who've already placed an order without you doing anything, right? Once you've done this, you send a restock emailer, and the duration is based on product consumption, right? So the duration is, let's say, for example, for us at Dr. Vaidya, the restock emailer would go 25 days after the order is delivered. Because in most cases, our customers would buy 1 month of dosage at a time, right? So if the customer does place a successful order, then you send them the confirmed order flow, which is like order is sort of confirmed, and then it's being packed, it's been shipped, and then it's delivered, etc. All of that, right? With tracking details, etc. Now, if there is no action, right, and this is what a flow is: if yes, then this; if no, then this, right? So if there is no action, then in 24 hours, you can actually place a call to the customer and offer them a 10% discount. And by the way, this is our Dr. Vaidya's flow that we used to use. So you may use different ways and means to engage with the customer, but this is just the way that we engage with the customer, right? So you can call the customer and SMS the customer as well as WhatsApp the customer, and this sort of offer the customer a 10% discount. There may be customers that are not interested, right? Capture the feedback as to why they're not interested. If customers are interested but still have stock, you should put them back in your pipeline and reach out to them, let's say 10, 15, 20 days later. Because at times you used to see at Dr. Vaidya's that there is a customer who's placed an order 25 days ago, or 1 month ago. The order is delivered 25 days ago, but they may not have started using the product on day one they received the product, right? They may start using it on day 5, day 10, day 15. And some customers actually haven't opened the product as well. So if that's the case, you may put them back into this flow, right? But if there's no action to your call, SMS, or email, you may send us, you may do a second call 24 to 48 hours later. If there's still no action, you may add them to the email database for your other products and continue to engage with the customer. So this is really a retention flow and a flow with which we used to try to re-engage customers who have purchased from us at Dr. Vaidya. I think other than just retention and building high LTV, I think surprising customers who have already purchased and are loyal customers by exceeding expectations, this really builds long-term loyalty, right? And so really delighting the customer is something that goes over and above retention, right? So I'll give you one example of customer delight that we did at Dr. Vaidya's. This was Diwali last year, and in most cases, actually, brands send customers Diwali gift hampers, boxes, products, and we had done this in the past. But this year, last Diwali in October, November 2020, we realized that, look, it's not just product or gifts or sweets that can engage the customer. Let's do something really personal. And so for our top 500 customers, this is what we did.
Namaste Gopal sir. 2020 has been a very difficult year for us, but we've made it to Diwali. Diwali is a time of friendship, togetherness, and love. Our relationship is very, very special to us, and it goes way beyond just professional. So this year, instead of sending you sweets or gifts, we decided to send you something we care about most. We decided to send you the wish of good health.
Diwali is unity, Diwali is teamwork. And I am proud to say, with your support, we have been open and able to deliver to the customers. We have been able to launch products in the most difficult times during this pandemic. This would not have been possible without our relationship and your support. You are as much part of our family as each one of us. So from the bottom of our hearts, I wish you and your family a healthy and happy Diwali.
ये दिवाली हेल्थ के नाम।
इस दिवाली कुछ मीठा भी और कुछ हेल्दी भी। तुमने बधाने दिवाली की हार्दिक शुभेच्छाओं।
दिवाली मुबारक।
शुभ दीपावली
और हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay united.
Happy Diwali, your family and your friends.
So if you noticed actually, and maybe some of you didn't notice what the big deal with this was, the first section saying Namaste Gopal sir, that was a section that I re-recorded for 500 different customers 500 different times, right? So all of these 500 customers, our top 500 customers at Dr. Vaidya's, actually got a personal greeting or a personal message from us. And this actually was something which was so much more powerful than sending gifts or sweets or gift boxes. And we got such amazing messages and such amazing feedback from customers. So sometimes actually surprising your loyal customers and exceeding their expectations can create real long-term loyalty for the brand.